I'd like to call the meeting of the Capital Improvement Board for February 3rd to 2025. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I please have a roll call?
Moore.
Here.
Muta.
Here.
Prieto.
Here.
Rakos.
Here.
Salinas.
Here.
Warple. Button.
Let the record show that 6 are present with 1 absent. You all should also have gotten in your packet the past meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Second. I have a first. I have a second. Can I please have a roll call?
Moore.
Yes.
Muta.
Yes.
Prieto.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Button.
The record shows 6 present, yes, and 1 absent. Before the meeting, we had a report on the work studies, or we had a work study session where we discussed the 2 items for today. There were no questions from the board. Next is we have funding.
I do not have an update today, Mr. President.
Okay. Next, we have matters from mayor, council, or other departments. Anyone wish to address the board? Nope. Do we have any old business? No old business. We'll go down to new business. 9A, and this is funding allocation number 230, Torrance Avenue reconstruction from Gosselin to Hudson, supplemental design. This is a project that would be on the 4600 block of Torrance, as I said, from Gosselin to Hudson, where the street is going to be redone. We had residents inquire about adding more parking. So what this money is going to be allowed to do is have them design for more parking in the parkway. For those that don't know, there's a very big parkway with no curbs there. So they're kind of going back to the drawing board, I should say, to add more parking spots. And the amount is $16,800 with United Consulting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have
Second.
a first and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Moore.
Yes.
Muta.
Yes.
Prieto.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Button.
Let the record show we have 6 yeses and 1 absent. 9B, funding allocation, number 231, general engineering services with Nice Engineering. This is an annual general engineering service contract for $60,000 to perform various tasks and assignments for the engineering department. Generally, Nice assists the engineering department in design solutions to drainage problems throughout the city, including French drains and solutions to standing water, among other assignments.
So moved.
Second. I have a first and a second. I have a roll call, please.
Moore.
Yes.
Muta.
Yes.
Prieto.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Button.
I have 6 yeses and 1 absent. Next, we have public expression. Do we have anyone that would like to address the board? Mr. Mueller? Yes, please.
All right.
Can you please state your name and address, please?
My name is David Mueller, and we have our business at 416 Sibley in downtown for the last 135 years. Well, not there precisely, but in downtown.
Sure.
It's come to my attention, actually, it was anticipated before now, but in the redevelopment plan for downtown, which, please believe me, folks, I've been fully supportive of this project from the very beginning. It's a fact that for the last 65 years, all we've seen up there is everything falling down around us. So to actually have a plan to reinvigorate and redo the whole situation up there has been very refreshing just to hear of in the planning stages and when the consultant was here. So we've been very supportive of the whole thing. Now, the one issue that immediately has come to the surface for us who are actually in that area at the present time, and we've been there, ongoing for a long time. So we've been up there and we've been able to see it develop and change, is the parking issue. The parking issue, as most of you know, and I truly believe this, was what killed that downtown area to begin with. Everybody blames the trains. It wasn't the trains. People were stopped from coming and going a little bit, but they had nowhere to park after World War II, and everybody had a car. It wasn't just streetcars and buses anymore. People were moving a little further away from the downtown district, so households had cars. And they would come up and try to park, and there would be no parking. The parking that was there, it changed all the time. At one point, we had meters on the streets. Anybody remember those? Oh yeah, we had them. And then they configured the streets one way this and one way that. And then there was angled parking on the street. And I mean, it went a lot of changes to try to accommodate the business that was coming. And I think most of you are old enough to remember what a dynamo that business section was. It's been told to me it was the third largest commercial shopping district in the Midwest. Now, I've heard that from many sources. Whether that's true, it was big. You all know it was big. So here we are again in a reformation situation to try to redevelop the whole thing, and in the first 6 months we're faced with parking issues. Now I can illustrate that a little bit. There are technically 4 of us right in my little corner of Sibley and Homan over to Fayette. There's Paul Henry's Art Gallery, that's us. There is the Toll Theater. Most of you are familiar with the Toll Theater. There is Ray Garcia, who has events on weekends occasionally. And he draws good crowds in there. It's not every weekend, but it's enough to where when he has an event, you know it's happening. And then there's the South Shore Substation over on Fayette. And they've kind of toned things down, but they still have events. And when they do, they draw people from outside the area and they need somewhere to park. Now, all of you are familiar with the large lot where the Hammond Times used to be. And you're all familiar, I'm very sure, of the situation with most of that parking area now. And that was when the Calumet Bank anticipated moving there and spending a lot of money to refurbish that building. They wanted a guarantee of parking. And so, City of Hammond made an arrangement where they were guaranteed 100 spaces. This is pretty much common knowledge. I've heard it from many sources. Now, they ended up late this summer fencing it off. They didn't close it off, but they fenced it off. So they haven't begun to take on tenants in there yet, but there's a little gate there on the entryway. And it won't be long, that'll be closed off. Now also what they managed to provide which I am very grateful for, are 18 spots to the east of our building, right adjacent to our building. And that area is kind of fenced off with the entrance coming only on Sibley. So we've got 18 spots there. And then it was decided across Sibley, on the corner of Home and Sibley, a gravel lot was created with cement buttresses for every parking spot. Now, believe me, 18 spots doesn't even hold my crowd on Thursday night. The gravel lot, thank goodness, it's there. And up till now, the big portion of it, which will eventually be dedicated to the Calumet Bank building, that's still available. And you can walk through a slot in the fence and get to us or to the theater and to Ray. So it isn't at a tremendously critical stage yet, but there will come a time. And in fact, we already had one situation that was extremely scary to me. We had, a couple weekends ago, we had spent a lot of time and spent a lot of money between the gallery and some folks who are going to put on a really first-class reception on a weekend, on Saturday. And we had people coming, it was going to be great, and it snowed. Well, I watched the city guys at the Public Works. They were doing a good job on the streets and to the paved portions of the parking areas. And I didn't worry too much, except for if the big lot was closed, then that would leave us with 18 slots and a snow-covered gravel lot. And there was no indication that the city was going to plow that. So I got a little nervous about this. We're expecting a crowd of 200, and I called our councilman Al, and he says, well, Public Works goes home at 2:30, and I think this is about 2 o'clock. There wasn't much time, but they did hustle, and they salted it. They probably put down more salt than there was snow, quite honestly. So that was going to be okay if you wanted to walk through 2 inches of salt and slush. It worked out. We were okay. Now, the next thing came this month, and the Toll Theater is opening their new show. Now, they seat 165 in there, and most of the time they sell out. And that opening is at the end of this month. On the same day, I have a punk rock concert, which draws commonly 125 people. That's not counting Ray, and it's not counting the substation. I don't know what they're doing. I just don't know. But you can understand that we've got a serious issue, especially if the weather turns bad. I mean, I don't even, maybe Al knows, but I don't even know if they can or want to plow that gravel lot. Let's say we get 8 inches of snow over there. We're not out of the woods yet with this winter. So it can develop into a serious thing. Now, there's new parking on Holman Avenue. And count them up. There's about 30 places. And we've got 300 in our two crowds. It's not good, folks. And I understand that it's probably not going to change all that quickly. It's winter. You don't blacktop anything in the winter if you want it to stay, I guess. And that would be solution from my perspective. Number one is to put blacktop on that gravel lot. That's where you guys and your board come in, I guess, where we would try to run that through.
Yeah, sir, if I'm not mistaken, I think that lot is privately owned.
Well, that I think you're probably correct on.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard conflicting things.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's privately owned, can't do anything. I've heard that project fell through and we got to figure out what to do with it and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's privately owned, and the owners are, I guess, doing everyone a favor by, allowing people to park there currently.
Oh,
So,
I would
yeah.
greatly appreciate that. Please believe me. Yeah, if we didn't have that, it would be
All right.
practically
I have a question.
non-operable.
Who's the punk rock band?
Pardon?
Who's the punk rock band?
Oh, there will be 6 of them, Dave. You ought to come.
Oh,
Devo,
Bring your
Sex
earplugs.
Pistols.
Did you say
That's why I'm deaf now. In the 70s.
So Al asked me when I explained all this the other day, he says, so how can you be in business? And I said, well, that's the problem. If it gets really, really bad, we won't have any business back because people will come, they won't have anywhere to park, they'll end up over at Strax or they're going to end up over at the county courthouse, hiking through whatever conditions there are, but no adjacent parking.
I understand, sir. And so what we're going to do is we'll take that down and we will consult with engineering department and see if there's any solutions for the future.
So-
This is the perfect opportunity, and place to come and let us know the issues. So,
But
Well, I greatly appreciate the opportunity. I'd like to thank all of you for listening.
Mr. Mueller,
absolutely.
And
Mr. Mueller, I appreciate you taking the time to come here and explain the problem on 2 issues that, as far as that lot goes, isn't that still available for potential development?
That possibly is, I
So
believe.
talking to whoever owns that, if they're planning on developing it or selling it, I doubt they're going to want to spend the money to pave the lot. Now, as far as where the parking is, I've seen this because I've taken a ton of tours on walkable cities. And unfortunately, part of the plan of walkable cities is not, I'm not saying they're intentionally parking cars away from where your shop is, but they want people to get out and walk to wherever they're going to because of the propensity for them to shop at other places along the way. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just know these proponents of walkable cities make that a big part of your plan, and that is get out and walk. And maybe go see Karen's place across the street, and if they're coming to a show at your place, if he's ever open, eat at Ray's, That's what part of the Walkable Cities plan, again, without commenting whether or not on any other aspect of it, I'll just say I know that that's one of the plans of Walkable Cities.
Dave, I understand that concept, and it really is a good concept. It's that phasing in of that concept.
Right. You know how it is. People want to park by where they're
I just hope
going.
people get the concept before they decide never to come back.
Right.
If we had a little more directional to like the county lot over there on the south side of Fayette, okay? If there were directional signs to indicate that that's available, that would be one thing that could be done. And the only other one that I thought of that could be somewhat of a help, not necessarily a solution, but somewhat of a help would be you've got 2 burned out businesses along Hammond that are now torn down and straight through. And they probably could be created maybe 10, 15 spots on either one of them. And I assume that the city probably owns that property at this point. I don't know. But do you recall the places I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Straub Building and what used to be
And
the Hammond National.
the basic business building.
Yeah. Oh, and the basic. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the 2.
Right.
And you could gain at least 20.
Yeah.
And of course, the foundation of all this is that we're not Walgreens.
Sure.
People aren't stopping for 5 minutes, pick up a prescription.
Sure.
They're there and they spend anywhere from 2 to 6 hours.
Right.
so that parking doesn't turn over.
Well, I appreciate you coming, sir, and we will give this to engineering department, and we're, you know, we appreciate your business here for as many years as your family's been here. So I'm hoping too that there's a better solution for you guys. So I will give this to engineering.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you for coming.
I'd like to see a couple of you down where we carry on all this entertainment and so forth. It'd be great to have you. You come by and see what we're doing. I mean, we're drawing, please believe me, we're drawing people from clear up on the far north side of Chicago all the way around the lake to Michigan.
Yes, sir.
And they come in for, you know, for these little things that we have. So it's been kind of a change in our business, but it's something that we feel strongly will contribute to the growth and the rebound of the downtown district. And I appreciate all of what you folks are doing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Stop by anytime, we'll talk it over again.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
You're welcome.
Got a special place in my heart down there, Dave. I learned how to throw dice down there.
Yes. Yep. Is there
Did she
anybody
wanna
else in the crowd that would like to speak?
Don't be shy. No.
Okay.
Nobody embarrass you.
All right, that ends public expression. Looks like next meeting possibly will be on Tuesday, February 18th. Please be on the lookout for an email from our leader and to see if there's anything on the agenda for that day. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Down there, right?
All right.
Yeah, tell them.
Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
We didn't vote, but.